Giants were real. Okay, so we don't have much definitive proof of this, but there are plenty of facts and stories out there that can lead us to the conclusion that giants may have been real and could even still be out there today. And with just a bit more proof, we could be on the verge of discovering the facts behind their existence and possibly what happened to them. How cool would that be? So whenever anyone tells you the giants can't possibly be real, just give them these 10 pieces of evidence that they are, and you'll be the hero. From ancient texts to footprints, stay tuned to number 1 to find out just where giant-sized skeletons have been found. Number 10. Huge bones found. Dinosaur excavations usually get more press than other archaeological discoveries, but they don't just find dino and animal bones when they go digging for history. Sometimes they find human skeletons, and big ones at that. Excavations in places like Ecuador, Bulgaria, and Egypt have uncovered massive sets of bones, leading scientists to believe that they belong to large, upright beings of 10 feet or even taller. These bones have even been found in the United States in places like Wisconsin, Colorado, Death Valley, and even more. Now, these giant bones don't guarantee that they belong to humans, but the bone structure sometimes resembles that of a gigantic human being. Most of the skeletons date back millions of years, too, providing the possibility that mankind was walking the earth well before we ever thought they were, and our ancestors may have been huge at the time. Number 9. Impossible feats of strength. Sure, we've all seen YouTube videos of people lifting really heavy stuff and throwing it wherever, but that's nothing compared to some of the most well-known and unexplained feats of human history. Structures like Stonehenge are a perfect example. The entire construction was built with gigantic stones that no single human could ever move, unless they were giant. Okay, maybe they had teams of people moving these stones, but based on the estimated date of their construction, societies are not believed to have the tools to move stones of such size. On top of that, they have figured out that the type of stones used in Stonehenge came from hundreds of miles away. It would have been an immense job to get them from point A to point B and to make sure that they stay intact. Unless maybe a giant moved them. The pyramids at Giza are another example. These monstrous structures were supposedly built by thousands of people over the course of many decades. But even still, the tools available at the time would not be good enough to move such massive stones. Of course, this does not guarantee that giants did all the work, but maybe they did. Who knows? Number 8. Exceptionally tall people. The world is full of amazingly tall people. Everywhere you go, you can find people of all heights, making it very possible that there were even larger humans roaming the earth long ago. People who stand 7 or 8 feet tall are real, so who's to say that even taller people didn't live long before our time? The tallest man to ever live, according to record books, was Robert Pershing Wadlow, who stood at 8 feet 11 inches tall. Currently, some of the tallest men and women on Earth stand above 8 feet tall themselves. These are very tall people and could, in their own right, be considered giants. Many people from around the world are super tall, while others are very small. This at least proves that human DNA has the capability to create humans of wide variety. So why not super huge ones? Maybe we live in an era of 8-foot max humans, but those numbers were much higher in the past and could again be in the future. Number 7. The Bible. So there will always be debate as to whether or not the Bible is a matter of fact or fiction. However, there are many stories from multiple sources, such as the Bible, that speak of very large humans as if they are just a daily part of life. Goliath, for example, is assumed to be well over 10 feet tall, and Samson is estimated to be nearly just as large. While no one truly knows the exact details of these stories, you can certainly ask why they would be described as such massive people if they were not. In addition, many books of the Bible were written by many different people who lived in different locations throughout the Middle East. How some of these writings match other ones could be proof of very tall people walking the earth in biblical times. Number 6. Other famous writings. The Bible isn't the only famous collection of books to write about massive human beings. Tons of literature has been written over the years, some fiction, some nonfiction, and some a mix. It's not completely clear if some of these stories were true or not. Stories like Homer's Odyssey describes gigantic people and massive, beastly humans, and while they may be fiction, sometimes art imitates life. Paintings and statues can be found around the world depicting large humans going to battle or ruling over the land. Much like the Bible stories, these pieces of artwork can be found across the globe, describing similar beings of huge size. Either they are making it all up, or there is something more to the story. One of the craziest texts to be discovered by archaeologists is the Book of Giants, a 2,000-year-old scroll that has been translated to describe the people known as Nephilim, a pre-Noah's flood people that are referenced in both religious and non-religious texts and corroborate stories of giants in the Bible itself. Number 5. Science. Everybody's best friend when it comes to facts is science. With science, everything is proven, so it's natural that we would look to it for proof of giants. Fortunately, there's a bit of science that can help prove their existence. Aside from the skeletal findings around the world, science has shown proof of what is called gigantism. This is a real condition that involved an excessive amount of growth hormone inside a person's body, making them grow larger than usual. Studies have shown that some of the tallest people in the world share similar DNA structures and similar amounts of growth hormone. This is how we have people at 7 or even 8 feet tall today. So if science can prove why the tall people we see today are tall, who's to say that tons more growth hormone could have been found in ancient times? It's very possible that gigantism existed long ago and was much more extreme than it is today. Granted, we can't go back and do a blood test of Goliath, but still. Number 4. Bigfoot sightings. No discussion on the topic of giants is complete without speaking about Bigfoot. We all love Bigfoot, and apparently, he loves cameras, especially ones with really bad quality. The fuzzier the footage, the better. Bigfoot sightings have been reported all around the United States and even the world since at least the 1970s. While the videos and images are very fuzzy, it does seem curious that there have been so many sightings. It seems anywhere you find woods, you can find Bigfoot sightings, and Bigfoot enthusiasts who will tell you all about their own experience. No one has ever successfully caught a Bigfoot, and many hoaxes have been figured out over the years, but maybe he's out there. Also, who really wants to be that crazy Bigfoot guy after all? There is no incentive to lie about a sighting, so it's possible that those who have seen him may just have stumbled across the modern-day ties to giants. Number 3. Mythology. The Bible may have reports of gigantic individuals, but other books have done the same thing. There are scores of religious and fiction books that have reports of gigantic human beings written all around the world, and the books are ancient enough to really bring up the question of, are they fact or fiction? Mythological stories tell of Atlas, who was large enough to hold the entire world on his shoulders. Balor was a giant king and a leader of a supernatural race of humans who lived ages ago. Polyphemus was a cyclops and a man-eating giant in ancient times. All of these stories are found in mythology, but you can certainly ask, where did these stories come from? What inspired the writers to develop stories about super large humans in their books? Maybe it was real ones that they knew. Was Atlas really just the writer's gigantic neighbor from down the road? Was Polyphemus just a guy from work? We may never know for sure. Number 2. Giant footprints. While we don't have physical proof of Bigfoot, we do have physical proof of giant footprints. All around the world, people have found huge footprints that perfectly match that of a human foot and do not match the footprints of any known dinosaurs. Some are deep in fossilized rock while others are found in fresh dirt. This means that giants could have existed long ago and could still exist in more recent history. Goliath's footprint in Impaloozi, South Africa is one of the biggest footprints ever found. This print is 4 feet long and fossilized in stone, and has become a centerpiece for those who believe in giants. On top of all that, no one can definitively say where it came from. Before we get to number 1, be sure to like this video and click that subscribe button below. Number 1. Gigantism in other species. Okay, so this doesn't really prove anything about humans, but hear me out. Nearly every species on the planet has a giant version of itself. Squids and giant squids, frogs and giant frogs. Even armadillos have giant armadillos. Everything on the Earth has a whole subset of creatures that grow far beyond the regular size of the main species. Therefore, it can't be too far-fetched to believe that maybe, just maybe, humans have a subset of giants as well. Although we have little proof currently that it's true, it is possible that our giant side died off many years ago, with a few stragglers here and there. Tell us what you think about the existence of giants in the comments below, and take care.